Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Sneha for CELPIP and IELTS. And in today's video, we are going to discuss everything related to IELTS. So let's begin. Now, IELTS is an English language proficiency examination and it is conducted by IDP. Now, the sole purpose of this examination is to assess your proficiency in English language. And when we talk about assessing or evaluating a person's proficiency in certain language, we do it using 4 skills: reading, listening, writing and speaking. So whether you are able to read a foreign language, and not just read, are you able to understand it? That is your reading skill. Whether you can, understand what someone is saying, so that is your listening skill. Whether you can express your thoughts, your idea in the form of writing in a foreign language, that is your writing skill. And whether you can convey your ideas, your opinions in words by speaking to someone, so that is your speaking skill. So these 4 skills are judged in this examination, and these 4 skills, they form 4 modules of this examination, which is reading, writing, listening and speaking. Now when we talk about IELTS, it's conducted in 2 modes. So we have IELTS, which is in the form of a computer based examination, and the other one, which is a paper and pen based examination. Now, in computer-based examination, the name itself suggests that you will be taking this examination on a computer, on a system. On the other hand, in paper pen based mode, this examination is conducted on a paper and you will be using a pen to mark your answers. So that's the basic difference between 2 modes. Now there are also, some other factors that differ in between these 2 modes, and we'll discuss them when we come to individual discussion of these 4 modules. I'll explain like what's the difference in a particular module when it comes to that if you want to take a computer based examination, if you want to appear for a paper based examination. So I'll explain you like what's the basic difference when we discuss each of these modules individually. Now, as of now, let's focus ourselves on these 4 modules of this examination. Now first let's discuss with the reading module. In the reading module, you have 3 reading comprehensions or 3 sections. And these 3 reading comprehension or these 3 sections, they are in the form of text. Now reading comprehensions will be there in academic IELTS, and 3 sections in which there will be 5 reading comprehensions. It will be there in general IELTS. So there are 2 types of IELTS as well. Number 1 is academic IELTS, number 2 general IELTS. Academic IELTS is taken by those who are preparing for educational purpose, who are preparing for further education, and for that they have to prove their language proficiency. On the other hand, general IELTS is generally taken by those who are preparing for their business related purpose, their peer related purpose. So for those people, general IELTS is the one. Now when we talk about reading module, so as I said, there can be 3 reading comprehensions or 3 sections in which there will be 5 reading comprehensions, and you are given exactly 60 minutes to solve these 3 reading comprehensions or 5 reading comprehensions. And total number of questions, these are fixed in both the types. So you'll be getting a total of 40 questions in the reading module. When it comes to IELTS writing, we have 2 questions, 2 tasks, and the duration of this is also fixed, which is 60 minutes. When we talk about IELTS listening, now here the approximate duration is going to be half an hour, which is 30 minutes. However, the number of questions, these are fixed. So here you have 40 questions divided in 4 sections. And lastly, when we talk about IELTS speaking, here the duration is not fixed. However, most of the time it's going to be 10 to 12 to 15 minutes, not more than that. And there are 3 parts of speaking. Now let's discuss each of these modules in more detail. Now, let's begin our discussion with the speaking test. And for most of the candidates, it's actually one of the most challenging sections of this examination. And there is a reason for that. When there is an examiner sitting in front of you, you tend to get a bit conscious, because for anyone who is taking this test, English is going to be their second language, and fluency comes into picture, your confidence comes into picture, and I am going to make sure that nothing comes in your way on the day of your examination. So we will practice enough this module as well. I'll be explaining you what to do in this module, how to frame your responses, and also what not to do. We'll be building your skills of speaking, we'll be building your confidence by particularly focusing on how we have to prepare ourselves for this section. Alright? And we'll be doing it in the coming videos for sure, when I'll be explaining to you this speaking section of IELTS individually. As of now, let's try to understand the format of this module. So in speaking, you have part 1. Now part 1 is a basic introduction of you. So the examiner might want to ask about you, about your hometown, your country, your education, your work, your likes, your dislikes, your friends, your parents. So anything about you can be asked in part 1, which is introduction. Now I call it kind of a warm-up activity, warm-up for the further tasks. So you actually need not prepare anything when it comes to part 1. It's kind of a very general interview, right? Most of the things about yourself, right? We all do. So you only have to put those answers in front of the examiner. However, you only have to make sure that you perform well on those standards that actually count when it comes to band score of speaking module, right? Now let's discuss part 2 of speaking. Now part 2 is cue card. And by cue card I mean that a topic is given to you by the examiner and you're given around a minute to think on that topic, and then for the next 1 to 2 minutes you are asked to speak on the topic unless the examiner, he asks you to stop. Alright, so you have to speak uninterruptedly for 1 to 2 minutes in this section. The last part would be part 3, which is discussion. Now, in this discussion in part 3, there are follow-up questions which are related to the topic of cue card. So, part 2 and part 3 are related. Here you only have to speak on the topic. Here you have to answer further questions which are related to the topic of the cue card. And part 1 is completely general, anything about you. So this is about speaking test. Now the scoring criteria of speaking test, as I mentioned, there are certain factors that decide your band score in speaking. And we'll discuss these factors when we will, discuss speaking test individually. As of now, let us come to the reading section. Now in reading module, as I said, there can be 3 reading comprehensions or there can be 5 reading comprehensions. However, the type of questions that are there, they remain the same. So whether you are, appearing for general IELTS or whether you are appearing for academic IELTS, types of question, they are going to remain the same. So we have true, false, not given type of questions. We have fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks are in many forms. It can be sentence completion. They can be in the form of a summary. They can be in the form of a flow chart. They can be in the form of a diagram. Now then we have short answer questions. We also have matching the headings type of question, matching information type of question. So all these questions are there in the reading section. And as I discussed before that we have 40 questions in total. There is no score deducted for any incorrect answer. So you have to make sure that you attempt each and every question, even if you have to take a guess, do that. And you get a total of 60 minutes to complete this section, including marking your responses. So you're not going to get any additional time to mark your responses. You have to solve them, you have to mark them, all the 40 questions within 60 minutes. Third is writing. Now in IELTS writing we have 2 tasks. Task 1 is a letter writing in case of general IELTS and a report writing in case of academic IELTS. This is task 1. Task 2 is essay writing. So it's common in both the types, whether it's general or academic. You are given a total of 60 minutes again for this module. It's not divided between the 2 tasks. You are given a total of 60 minutes for both the tasks. However, ideally, you should solve task 1 in around 20 minutes and you should be able to solve task 2 in 40 minutes. So combined you get 60 minutes. Now again, when it comes to writing, there is no right or wrong answer. So there are certain factors that will decide your band score in this module as well. And we'll discuss them in the coming classes. The last part that we are going to discuss today is the listening section. Now in listening section what happens is, you're given an audio and based on that audio, you have to answer certain questions. Now in IELTS, when the audio is being played, the questions are there in front of you on the screen. So you have to solve them simultaneously when the audio is being played. There are a total of 40 questions divided in 4 sections. So that means each section has 10 questions and these are the type of questions that you have. So there are MCQs, there are matching, there are fill in the blanks in the form of a diagram, a summary. sentence completion, a flow chart, and there are short answer question. So the types of question in listening is same as the types of question that we saw in reading part. Again, there is no point deducted for any incorrect answer, so make sure that you mark all the answers even in the listening module. So these are the 4 modules that are there in IELTS, and in the coming videos we will be taking up these modules individually. We will be discussing them. We will be discussing all the do's and don'ts. We will be discussing strategies related to each of the question types, and we will be solving a number of mock tests as well. With that in mind, we have come to the end of today's video. So if you haven't done it so far, please go to my channel, like my videos, share them with whosoever needs them, subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any video. See you in the next class. Bye-bye.